Good morning. Hi, Kira. Give me 1 second, Kira. I'm trying to figure out why my invite list got all, like why there are no other people in here. I'm just double checking who got the link.
Okay.
Because I'm confused. There's usually better attendance, so I'm thinking that something happened. Good morning, Desiree. Desiree, just give me 1 minute. I'm fixing the invite list for this class because I think some people didn't get the invite. So just give me 1 second. Although you guys got it, so I'm not sure what happened in translation here. Okay, so now it should be right. I apologize for this. Okay, so we should have some more people showing up now that I sent this. But how are you guys doing today?
Good.
You're doing good? Let's wait another like 2 minutes for people to shuffle in.
I ordered $40, my mom.
Hi, Destiny.
Me, I'll slap you. Hey, Miss Christine.
Did you just get my email? Like just right now? Or did you get it before? I'm just trying to figure out what went wrong. But it's okay. Now I sent out the other one. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Hi, Denira. Didn't get one at all. It should have gone out just now because my invite list it didn't save. So we were having some issues, but I'm glad that you guys got it now. Okay, let me share my screen with you all. Welcome to December 1st. Happy December 1st. So weird. The year is almost over. So we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, just like a little community meeting about, winter coming up. And since it's December 1st, we have like 24 days till Christmas, we're coming into winter. It's getting so dark out so early. How many people are like freaked out about how dark it is? I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm like ready to go to sleep by like 6 p.m. Um, okay. I see you in the chat, Danira. So I wanted to just ask you guys, what makes you most excited about winter and what makes you least excited? It could be anything really. Most excited about winter and least excited. Hi, Gary. I'm gonna mute whoever that is. I think it was Danira. You could put it in the chat. Danira says New Year's, movies, and hot cocoa. Nice. I'm gonna put in. Does anybody else have an excitement for winter? Christmas. Yeah. I feel like I'm not even thinking about gifts this year though. I'm just kind of like Hanukkah. Nice. I'm not thinking about gifts this year. I feel like my mind is just like elsewhere, you know. But these are all definitely exciting things coming up. I think I'm least excited about it being cold and like not being able to walk around all the time. Like we're really going to be like inside, which is something to prepare for, especially if you need sunlight to survive, right? Like if you need to just go outside and be outside. I hate the cold, but this winter should be fun. Oh, cute. That is really fun. Maybe you could find a place to like go sledding or something. That will be really, really fun for you guys. Hi, Kashmir. Good morning. All right, so just a few announcements. Thanks, guys, for sharing. A few announcements. You could follow along with my document that I shared with you. So your first progress report, number 1, it was due, for other teachers, it was due at 3 p.m. yesterday. For me, since I'm like doing the progress reports, I'm gonna say everything's due at noon for you guys. So at this point, what's due for my class is checkpoint 1. So remember, checkpoint 1 were those 2 poems about family love, and we did it in class. We like read them, we discussed them, we annotated, we wrote paragraphs on the 2 poems. It was Mothers and This Be the Verse. And for the most part, if you have handed it in to me, I've given it back to you. So that's what's due to me by noon, those 2 poems on checkpoint 1. I just wanted to make that announcement. Does anybody have any questions about how to get there on Summit? How to, like what is the checkpoint? It's underneath checkpoint 1 on English 3. It's under familial love. There are 2 discussion questions for the first poem and 2 for the, let me erase this, 2 for the second poem. And that's checkpoint 1 that would be on your first progress report. We will have the assembly. You know how we have that assembly to like recognize people's good grades and everything? that's going to be coming up on Friday. So we're trying to get you guys to get actual money this time and not Amazon gift cards, because those are not the best things to get. So again, if you have a green in classes, if you have like the color is green, then you will be rewarded with, I think it's $5 for that class, and you could rack them up for however many classes you're passing. Okay. All right, so we're going to start the actual agenda for today. So we are moving into, we did family love, familial love. And remember, the big question for this unit is what is love, right? So I split it into family love, self-love, and then romantic love is going to come. Romantic and platonic love is going to come after that. So we are going to focus on one author for self-love, an author that I really love. Her name is Nayera Waheed, and she wrote two books, one called Nema and one called Salt. But the one that we're going to be reading from is called Salt. So she writes a lot about like self-love, self-forgiveness, romantic love, heartbreak. So we are going to be looking at some of those today and seeing what her message is and what you think the author is going through as she writes this. But first, since we're talking about self-love, I wanted to ask you guys, and I'm going to give you maybe you have to think about it for like a minute or two, but what are two qualities that you really like about yourself or love about yourself? And you can put them in the chat, and we're going to compile a list of how awesome we are. But what are two qualities that you love about yourself? And you can put them in the chat. I just put mine. I'm waiting to see yours. Two qualities that you really love about yourself. You may have to stop and think and like reflect. Nobody has any self-love ones? I know you guys have more self-love than that. Hi, Shamir. Hi, Ahmad. I just saw you guys come in.
What's up?
My invite list got messed up from Gmail, so I apologize if it got sent, if you received it a little bit late. But right now we're talking about self-love in the chat, and everybody's putting two qualities that they really like about themselves or love about themselves. Sorry, here. So this is the question we're doing right now. And we were talking about how checkpoint 1 is due by noon. So if you didn't do that, make sure you get it in by noon. And Desiree says, do we have to fix any mistakes on the checkpoint, or do I just send it back? if you, so it depends, and this is for new people, it depends on the color. So if you get something back and it's green, then it's good. If you get something back and it's yellow, then there should be like a comment on what to fix. And if it's red, then you didn't do it. So that's how that's how Yes Philly works with the colors, the color system. All right, Ahmad has his 2 qualities in the chat. Who else? He says he's assertive and responsible. Nice. What are some other qualities that you guys like about yourselves? It could even be something that you don't like about yourself if you're in that mindset, but who wants to do that? Destiny says my ability to adapt. Amazing. That's like a number 1 thing in life, right? You have to be able to adapt and bounce back and be resilient. Although it can get tiring because I'm also good at that, and it gets very tiring as you get older. Anybody else? Let's have like 2 more people. I like hearing about your positive qualities. Jairi, Kashmir. Plus, I'm capable. Yes. Yes, Ahmad, you're very capable. On top of all of that. Shamir, hi Shamir. Do you have any qualities that you like about yourself? Kira says her loyalty and her personality. Nice. Loyalty is so important. Although sometimes I wonder, because I said loyalty also for mine, sometimes I'm like, why am I loyal? You know, when people just like try you. But it will never fail.
Exactly.
Anybody else have any qualities, self-love qualities? I like these types of conversations because they're positive and it's making your brain focus on positive emotions toward yourself. And so how many people in the chat how many people struggle with sometimes not feeling so positive about themselves? Does anybody ever have that feeling? Desiree says her loyalty and her patience. Nice. Ahmad's like, nope. Every day I feel like Ahmad has positive affirmations that he wakes up, he's like, I'm great, that's it. Kashmir, my ability to understand and see things from other people's point of views. Love that. And that I can get a good conversation out of anybody. It's so important to be empathetic and understanding, and you know that comes in handy when you're in any situation. People gravitate toward you. Ahmad says my confidence is always 100. And how many other people feel that way, that their confidence is always like at 100? They wake up, they're just like, this is who I am. Or do people feel like they falter a little bit? Because confidence is not the same for everybody. Desiree, I can check for you. I'll show you after this discussion. I will show you how to check the colors. Sorry, the question was how many people, or like, do you feel like your confidence falters, or is it mostly it stays the same, or it's up and down, or do you struggle with confidence in general? Because that's kind of an important part of self-love, right? Is confidence, is self-esteem. If you don't have those things and you don't kind of nurture them, it's really impossible to feel like self-love all the time, or it's harder to feel self-love. um so I think confidence is really hard sometimes, especially when, this year confidence has been a little bit harder if you're like a more social person. um and you don't necessarily have like all these gatherings to go to, like to get that confidence. You have to build it yourself. Um, okay. Does anybody have anything else about confidence or self-love? Before we move on. Okay. So I am just gonna, for new people, because we have a few new people in this class, before we start reading the Nair Wahid poetry about self-love and self and heartbreak, etc., I just want to show new people how to look at your grades or your colors. Um, and older people, this, or it could be a refresher, but I was just asked. So so Desiree, for example, you would go into Summit and go to year. Now, for Algebra 1 and physical science, so like you have reds, which means you didn't turn something in. Now for my class, for what is love, if it's blank, and this is something that for the most part is true, if it's blank, it just means that I haven't gotten anything from you yet. And it's about to be read, but like I didn't put the red in yet. So for this class, if you click on this checkpoint and you open it up, if you already did the questions, like if you're all done, you have to press request feedback at the top for every class. And this is for new people, or else your teacher won't get your assignment. So press request feedback whenever you're done with something. And then we'll be able to change the grades and the colors. Does that make more sense to you now? So anytime you want to look at your colors, you just go to year on the side. And if something's blank, it's probably equivalent to red. Okay, perfect. All right. So you have until noon to get that in, or press request feedback, whatever you have to do. So what I would like people to do, I assigned you guys a new checkpoint and I hope it's saved because I'm not seeing it on Desiree's, so hold on. Oh, I just have to assign you. I got what's happening. I just can't, I don't like the computer. I always forget to I wish we could just have a piece of paper where I could just hand it to you. All right, now it's going to be onto all of yours. Okay, so if you press refresh on Summit, you should get checkpoint 2 that pops up. It says Nair Wahid Self-Love. If you could click on that and just say here in the chat when you're there. So it looks like this. There's like a bunch of squares oops. There's a bunch of square pictures. This was my attempt because we don't have books. So I can't necessarily be like, here you go, here's a book, we're gonna look through it. So I took some poems out of the book Salt and I put it on this document. I'm not home. When is this due? So this is checkpoint 2, Ahmad. This is going to be due next, the actual checkpoint is going to be due next Tuesday. But we're going to have the discussion today, like for all of our annotations so that you can kind of like hear what poems mean. You could hear people's opinions. Everybody's going to be picking 2 poems today that they want to focus on this document. Okay, so don't worry about when this is going to be due because it's not like one of those checkpoints that's like, okay, Friday, this is due. Does anybody else is everybody here, by the way? Did you get to it? I just want to make sure that it, just say here when you're there. So this is the book that these come from. It's called Salt. This is her second book. And then the first one is this one. Nema Nair Wahid. This is the second book cover. And basically this poet, she is an immigrant from Kenya, and she got her popularity on, I don't know if you guys remember Tumblr, but like it used to be Tumblr and people started like posting her book all the time, right? Like posting these little poems all the time. Thank you, Destiny. I see you're there. Posting like pictures from the book. And she became this poet kind of that became really famous online almost. And I believe she still has her Instagram up or her Twitter, but she is also a poet that is published. She has 2 full-length books, and she's become really successful. And I think a lot of people like these poems because they're super short. They're very short and they're very powerful. So I thought that it could be that this poet could be a really good person to kind of open this dialogue of self-love and all the how hard it is, how lovely it is, all of the difficulties and complexities. So what we are going to do, what you guys are going to do, that's why I wanted to see if everybody was here. You're going to take about 5 minutes to just explore the poems that are on the page. So you can read them and just see, I want you to pick 2 that really kind of like jump out at you. And I'm going to number them. I should have done this on the initial copy. I actually thought I did, but you're just going to look at them and pick 2 that pop out at you. So I'm going to set the timer for, let's say 7 minutes. So you could read through them. Just pick 2 that you like. Because these 2 you're going to be working with to annotate and to write about. So I want you guys to go through and pick two that stand out to you. And you could put like a little star next to it or something. And then we're going to come back and discuss those. So we'll kind of share, and then we'll share like why you like them, etc. Okay, we have about 2 minutes left. Does anybody need more time? Or I guess because they're so short, have you already picked the two? You can put done in the chat when you've picked your two. I'll give everybody the full 7 minutes. Just put done in the chat when you have like put a star next to the two you like the best. Done. Okay, Destiny. Everybody else has about another minute. Okay. So that was the end of the few minutes. I hope everybody picked their two favorites that they want to work with. But just in general, what did you think of these poems? Did you like how they were written? What did you think? And this could also include maybe your poem. You want to share which one you picked. I kind of like these because I feel like there's little sayings almost, like you can get a lot out of them, but they're really short. Um that's why I really enjoy this poet. Um Which does anybody want to share which ones that they picked that really stood out to them? And the way you could do that is the title of these poems a lot of the times is right below the paragraph. So you see like options, seek, reminder, starting, in. If you want to put the name of the one that you chose, and we'll look at it a little bit closer. So everybody put the one that they chose in the chat. Destiny chose name, so that's this one. So let's name and starting. Cool. Let's read name together. Does anybody want to read it out loud? Because it's short, so. Okay, I'll read it. So it says, you are a story. Do not become a word, one word, because you want to be loved. Love does not ask you to be nothing for something. Name. So if we were to, like, what is the message of that poem around love and self, right? What do you think this person might have gone through to know this? Or what's your interpretation of it? And Kashmir picked in. Okay, perfect. We'll get to that one after. So for name, okay, Kiara got yours, emotional, nutrition, and starting. Perfect. What do you think that this poem means? Destiny said in the chat, and sorry, you just sent it to me, Destiny. So I'll send it to everybody. Love doesn't limit you or have the ability to do or be something. So love shouldn't limit you. Oh no, that's okay. And I love that. So I'm going to put this here and you guys can, I believe if you click here next to the image, I believe you should be able to type either next to it or at the bottom. I set it up so that you could press Lord up above. Help me. Can you see if you could type next to it? Or can you see if you could click on a picture and then go to comment on the top? Just let me know if that works on Summit. Oh, I could actually look. So if you click, you should be able to write on to the right of it. You see that? See how there's like a blinking line? I just wanted to see. All right. Destiny says it shouldn't limit your ability to do or something. Okay. So love shouldn't limit you or your abilities. Huh. Why do you think that happens to some people? That they become a word. They become one word instead of a story. Because they want to be loved. Do you think that's real? Like that really happens, or you see it, or have you done it? I think that really does happen. That people limit their storyness, right? Like they're so wide and expansive and complex and become this like surface thing to be loved by somebody. But we don't have to. All right, so Destiny, next to yours, next to name, I just want you to put what that beautiful thing that you said, love it doesn't limit you, or have the ability to do or be something. All right, let's look at the other ones. Cash, you also said starting. Let's look at starting. Okay. Apologize to your body. Maybe that's where the healing begins. Starting. Oh, Destiny. I meant Destiny said starting. Kashmir. We're going to get to yours. You're the next one within. So with this one, we're talking about self-love. Why would you have to apologize to your body in self-love?
People neglect their bodies.
Maybe people neglect their bodies, right? How do you neglect your body? Like, what are some ways that you can do that? Or like, also, why do you do that? There is this, I think it's really easy to, you can, if you made a mistake, you can just press this arrow at the top. So there should be an arrow that Kashmir looks like this. It's like a back arrow, and it will put the text back up. Do you see that?
Can you do it again?
Right here. Do you see there's an arrow there? Or it should be right here on Summit. It looks like this arrow. If you press it, it should put the image back up. And just let me know if that worked for you. So someone in the chat said, oh, Destiny, the spiritual, physical, and mental pains and trauma you put yourself through for everyone is neglecting yourself. That is amazing. Yes. So all of this pain and trauma you put your body through for everybody. That's an important part, right? Is how we neglect ourselves and our bodies specifically. That's beautiful, Destiny. You can also copy and paste this, Destiny, next to your poem, because you're going to need it for Friday. And what happens then if we apologize to the body? What do you think happens if you say, I'm so sorry I've treated you this way, and you try to reconnect with your body?
You start the healing process.
Yeah, you can start the healing process and maybe even like feel like you're inside your body, right? Or like feel like you're a full person. And she says the title of it's starting. So it's not something that's going to come naturally, right? It's like something that's kind of a journey and a process, like you said. Yeah, it's interesting sometimes if you go through the whole day and you're really distracted or you have anxiety or whatever, if you realize that maybe you haven't eaten, you haven't drank anything, you're just like going through the day. And how many of you feel like you forget you have a body sometimes because you're just so occupied with everything? Like maybe you don't go to sleep, maybe you don't, eat sometimes or drink or whatever, but it's like you're just so preoccupied with other things. And that really can happen more frequently than we think. Destiny says, your body can begin to heal and release the toxins you have encountered and allow you to start over again. Yes, I love that. And I like how you said toxins, because your body does absorb trauma and pain, right? It gets stored in the body. So when you release those toxins, you can really become an empty vessel and you can start over again, or you have the opportunity to. And if you are writing in the chat or if you're saying something, you can put this. I would like you to put this next to whatever one that you chose. A Wonderful Destiny. Okay. So we're seeing the author just from these two poems. Do you think that she's gone through some pain in her life? Just from those two poems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I would argue that these are self-love poems, right? But it's more about the challenges that we face when we try to get to self-love, right? Like, how do you love yourself? These are going to be some challenges. All right, let's look at In is next. Kashmir voted for In. Where is that? In. Oh, the first one. So I am mine before I am ever anyone else's. In. Why did you like that one, Kashmir? Also, I'm curious if anybody has any clues as to why it's titled In. Why did you choose that one, Kashmir, as your favorite? You there? Oh, okay. I see you in the chat. Because I see before you can love anyone the right way, you have to love yourself. And I think we did talk about this sentiment or like this idea last class. Before you love anybody, you have to love yourself. Do people agree with that? Or do you think that you can love, like you can love and be loved, even if you don't love yourself? I'm gonna put my answer in the chat. So that was kind of my thing. But Kashmir, I would like you to put what you said next to the picture, like why that was your favorite. And I agree. I think you can't experience lasting love unless you've practiced it on yourself. I think people can love you for sure, like friends and lovers can love you and family. If you're going through stuff and you can't love yourself, people can totally love you. You could love people. But I think you're always going to treat somebody, it might always be like up and down. Kaz, you still don't have the picture. I actually think I could send it in the chat here. And Destiny, I saw what you just wrote. I'm gonna out loud. I'm trying to think how to get it to you, Kashmir. Can you just take a minute and write what it says on the picture, Kashmir? Like in quotes, because it's pretty short. Just for the first one. And Destiny said, if you don't love yourself, I feel like if you have the right person to guide you and show you what true selfless love is, you will begin to love yourself. That's awesome. I think that is possible where you meet somebody and you feel that, whether it's a friend, whether it's romantic, you meet somebody who does show you selfless love, and it can help you. And I don't know if anybody's experienced that in here, even with a friend. I think of some of my close friends and I feel like they do that for me. And it's very nice. Or a family member too, right? If you're close to somebody in your family like that. All right, next one was from Kira. She said emotional nutrients and starting. So let's scroll down to emotional nutrients. Emotional nutrition. I will tell you, my daughter, of your worth, not your beauty, every day. Your beauty is a given. Every being is born beautiful. Knowing your worth can save your life. Raising you on beauty alone, you will be starved. You will be raw. You will be weak. An easy stomach. Always in need of someone telling you how beautiful you are. Emotional nutrition. And why did you pick this one, Kira? Why did you like this one?
I picked that one because I have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it speaks far as if you're always looking for, if you're always looking for the okay from somebody, you'll never be yourself.
Right. And so, like, always looking for outside
Opinions or outside commentaries.
yeah, validation, opinions, right? And that's this in the chat I just wrote worth versus beauty. And do people tell your kids like, oh, they're beautiful? Like, but is that like a common compliment?
Yes, people tell my daughter she's beautiful all the time. I tell her, but I also tell her she's smart. She's worth more than that.
Right. And so it sounds like that's a value, and for other mothers too, in the chat, it's a value you're trying to impart on your daughter about their worth.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like you had a good model for that? Like somebody telling you your worth or your value?
My dad.
Nice. So you saw parents that did that for you.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry, something just okay. Nope, that's fine. Somebody just threw a glass bottle out the window in my apartment building. Anyway, okay, so I heard you saying ooh, and Kiera, you can just type this next to the picture at the bottom. Know your worth and values so that you're not looking for that outside. And Destiny said, you will go wherever or to whoever will give that validation, good or bad, and people will use it to their advantage. Totally.
Seriously.
And I think that in those 3 sentences, you will be starved, you will be raw, and you will be weak, an easy stomach. So that goes with what you said, Destiny, like people are going to use you because you're weak and raw and an easy target, I guess, because you're looking for that validation. And I think with Instagram, I look at Instagram, I look at TikTok and all of these kind of vanity apps or social apps, right? And do you feel like people use them for validation sometimes? Or do you feel like they just want to show their life?
Absolutely.
You think they use them for validation?
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes I was hearing from some people in the other class that people will like put their relationships on Instagram, or they'll put like themselves on Instagram searching for that outside validation that, oh yeah, you're in a good relationship, or oh, you look so good. But is that real? Like, you're never going to get what's real. You're never going to get the worth, right? Like that inner happiness, really, or inner strength. And if we look at the title, emotional nutrition, I think why do you think it's called emotional nutrition?
Validation is something that emotionally tears down like somebody, like person in general.
Mm. So when you're the opposite of validation, then like the opposite of searching for validation would be to feel nourished, to feel like you ate a really good meal that's good for you, right? Emotional nutrition. Um, and, I'm thinking about Instagram, people posting if they used it for like their business or like quotes or something like that. Like some people find that more emotionally nourishing than seeking validation. But I think especially as teenagers and especially as young adults, with social media, people are searching for that validation. And we had it too, like back in my day, like we had MySpace. If we want to go all the way back, but we had MySpace, and you would do the same thing. You would put up pictures, music, your friends, right? To see who's in your top, whatever, just to make sure that you had that group, right? You were searching for the outside validation, but you might not have actually had that worth. And we have about 2 more minutes, so we're going to look at the next one. I think somebody said start. Kira said starting. So we already went over starting. Does anybody else want to share their favorite one? If it's one that we did not look at. I'm probably going to end sharing my favorite one. And this is the one that I used to have this on my, I used to have this on my mirror like 6 years ago. But this one, it doesn't have a title. But if you scroll down, hi, Kalia.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to.
It's okay. We're on checkpoint 2. Everybody pick 2 of these poems that they really liked and are going to focus on. So this one, it's next door name. I'm going to mute you, Kalia. If someone, it doesn't have a title, but it says, if someone does not want me, it is not the end of the world. But if I do not want me, the world is nothing but endings. And we're talking about self-love, right? And I think this one for me is the ultimate self-love message. it goes along with this validation thing, or about heartbreak, somebody not wanting you. It's not the end of the world. But if you don't act with integrity and spend time with yourself and know yourself, and if you don't want yourself, everywhere you look is going to look like it's ending, right? Like that darkness is going to be everywhere. And I think that's a really powerful message to remind us to love, to learn to like ourselves, right? If you don't love yourself yet, that's okay. To learn to spend time with yourself and like yourself. But that one is my favorite, and it has no title. So thank you guys so much for this discussion. We are going to be working with these poems Friday when we meet. We're going to be doing some writing about them. I will say that most people did writing in the chat. So make sure you're taking whatever you said, or if somebody said something good and you liked it, you can copy and paste it in your document next to that poem. But next class, we are going to be doing this little assignment here. So providing a summary of what you think the poem is about, which we did talk about today. And also just looking at any words, images, or themes that go through the poem and actually quoting them. And then I would like a little reflection of your personal experience with that. Like, why did you pick it? How does this resonate? And then you are going to make one discussion question about the poem that you're going to ask the class. And we'll do that on Friday. So this is just all Friday's work. I'm just previewing you. All right, so it is now 10:20. What did you guys, did you like this? Did you like this poet?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And I encourage you, if you have Amazon gift cards, or if you have, I don't know, extra money to buy and you like to read books, there is, her book is called Salt. And also there is a bookstore called Harriet's Bookshop. And it's an all Black woman owned and run bookstore in North Philadelphia. And actually the woman who opened it used to work for Yes Philly, Janine. And during COVID, they have all their books like outside on the sidewalk, kind of. And it's really pretty. She's like in her 30s. It's a really, really good business. So if you like to buy books, I would hype them up completely. It's a really cool shop. And I'll just give you their address, because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get really, you just like want a book sometimes, like a good one that you know you're going to connect to. And I hate Amazon. So here it is. It's actually it's in Fishtown. And then this is how it's been set up. Well, usually there's like books outside. And we were actually supposed to visit this bookstore to talk with her about, because she opened it herself. Janine opened it herself. And she only employs people who are like from Philly, like very, very like not gentrified, not a white dominated bookstore. And it's really pretty on the inside. We were supposed to go and visit it, but then COVID happened. So if you're looking for books, go by there and see if they have Salt, so that you could read more of Nair Wahid and see what else they have. All right, so I will see you on Friday, and have a great day. Bye. How do we end this?